Rumor has it that the Rockets possibly could put Russell Westbrook on a trade block. Why trading Russ will not solve the Houston Rockets' problems? Their problems are deeper than talent. Starts at the head of the snake. That's none other than the Houston Rockets have been going through essentially a tumultuous season if you think about it, because we expected them to be higher than what they are. I think they believe the 4th or 5th in the Western Conference. What really made me catch my eye on Houston when they lost to teams like the Bulls, Pistons, but most recently at Christmas Day they lost to Golden State Warriors minus Klay Thompson, minus Stephen Curry. Of course, there's no Durant. The team was depleted. The team implemented an archaic style of defense, essentially trapping James Harden every play, and the Rockets could not figure that out. We had Russell Westbrook at the top of the key when they trapped. They went Harden threw the ball to Russ. Russ started making plays, but then essentially they started daring Russ to shoot. He started taking a lot of jump shots, and that didn't work out for them. So they started putting Russ in the corner, but that didn't work out either because Russ couldn't figure out the spacing because he was worried about people from behind poking the ball out. So now you hear, well, they possibly could trade Russell Westbrook or whatever the case is. That's not going to solve anything. The problem is the philosophy of the Rockets is completely flawed. There's 7 seconds or less, or Mike D'Antoni world famous offense. It's not gonna work if you can't even get past the Golden State Warriors minus Klay, minus Steph. It's proven that it doesn't work. This is a 2-part problem. This is a D'Antoni problem because obviously if they're trapping you, gotta find ways to relieve the trap, find ways to put playmakers somewhere in or adjust your lineup so James Harden can invite the trap and release the pressure via pass. Just like they do to Steph all the time. They trap Steph Curry all the time. You see him release the pressure with a pass and he relocates. And that's the second part of the problem. James Harden is very lazy on offense. But that's not his fault because he dribble some more, dribble, step back, 3. And so when he's off the ball, he's too tired to go for a cut or anything like that. So that has to be taken into account as well. People love Mike D'Antoni offense because, he won a lot of games with it. He has a successful Phoenix team. He makes MVPs. He made James Harden MVP, Steve Nash a 2-time MVP. But I think there's a big difference in, especially skill gap in terms of the Phoenix Suns team that D'Antoni coached and the Houston Rockets team. The Phoenix Suns team had Joe Johnson coming off the bench, Sean Marion, Amari Stoudemire, Steve Nash. I mean, just the Barbosa, champions, veterans, guys that played a long time in college. Like, you got guys on that team that are way different personnel than what's on Houston. Houston essentially is James Harden because if they could not get past the Golden State Warriors, mind you, no Steph, no Klay, all they did was trap Harden, and they couldn't get past them playing. Because once you trap, it's essentially 4-on-3. You know what I'm saying? Going downhill, 4-on-3, and they couldn't beat a simple strategy. It's a simple strategy. People might say, well, James Harden still got his numbers. Nobody cares about numbers if you're losing. He had 24 points, 11 assists, this, that, and the third. The guy averaged about 36 or something like that. 12 below his average. They took him out of the game, and nobody else could produce. Now, there's Eric Gordon that's coming back, so you can't trap him anymore, but that's the blueprint. 3 straight seasons, James Harden has been eliminated in the playoffs. First round, second round, Western Conference Finals. 2 of the times, the best player wasn't even on the team when he got eliminated. KD, last year, when Steph eliminated him. And then a couple years before that, when the Spurs eliminated him without Kawhi Leonard. This is very disgraceful. And it all boils down to, like I said, philosophy. But also, the star player has to take some kind of blame because he could alter his game to make it more efficient. He said he practices with the double team. He adjusts himself to 2 guys come at him. Why don't you adjust yourself so you can understand when it's time to pass out of the double team and relocate? Play a little bit more off ball. You know, they had pistol action, which they ran for him. That was really good. They got him off the ball, and it was hard for them to double him. And, you know, they got him moving so that he could attack downhill and stuff like that. But most of the time, he's at the top of the key. He's very easy to defend. And that's the thing about D'Antoni's system. It's very easy to defend, especially in the playoffs. Now, what made it so successful with Phoenix is he had guys like Steve Nash. He had guys like Shawn Marion, guys that understood 7 seconds, but they also understood the basic fundamentals of basketball, pick and roll, spacing, when to cut to the basket, when to fast break. Instead of getting it to one guy, you know, there's plenty of plays. Shawn Marion brushing down the court, lobbing it up. Clint Capella, PJ Tucker, Austin Rivers, they're not the caliber of players that we saw on that Phoenix team. They're not that caliber of players. They're not awful, but they're not that caliber of players. So I think with all of this talent, it's time for a coaching change, because for you to lose to a team that's decimated, essentially all they did was play harder than you, and that's another problem. These guys aren't even playing hard. They're not even coming with their best efforts to beat teams. You know what I'm saying? Like you can see that they're lackadaisical, they're uninterested. So for you to lose, and the reason I bring this up, and to me, like people say regular season games don't mean anything. They mean things, because there are certain turning points during the regular season where you see a team come together or implode. The loss to the Warriors by the Rockets was the biggest upset on Christmas Day in 30 years. That's how bad it was. Mind you, Rockets had like a double-digit lead. Warriors battled back. Draymond Green, they made Draymond Green look like all-star again. D'Angelo Russell didn't even have like a great game, but other guys contributed. They made all those guys look like all-stars. That's the thing with Golden State. Moving the ball makes everybody look good, as opposed to the Rockets. When one guy looks good, everybody else looks like crap. You know what I'm saying? Like James Harden could honestly walk in the locker room and say, hey, it wasn't my fault we lost, but it was. You scored a lot of points, you had some assists, but it still was your fault that you lost. But I'll say 40% your fault, 60% D'Antoni. He had to see the fact that they were trapping, and also, hey, look, we got to do something else. We got to get the ball out of his hands quicker. We got to release the pressure, or we got to make Westbrook bring up the ball, so this way they don't double him at all. I mean, little wrinkles that he's not doing. So essentially, you know, of course, I've called for a coaching change multiple times, whatever the case is, but you know they're in trouble when they're exploring. There's rumors about them exploring options to trade Russell Westbrook. Like, Westbrook's the problem. He's not the problem. Then you got to look at Westbrook, and you got to feel for him, because he's like Will Smith, that episode in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, when he was like, why doesn't he want me? It's like no team wants Westbrook. And so it's a multitude of layers, but it's 3 things here that we got to understand. It starts at the head, and the head is the coaching and the system. The system doesn't work. It doesn't work. The Golden State Warriors, minus their stars, won big, and have won multiple times in the past couple years. They have given everybody in the league the blueprint to beat the Rockets in the playoffs. So that's not going to work anymore. So there obviously has to be a counter. The Rockets are not a good boxer. They're not good boxers because they don't have any counters. They've shown us that they don't have any counters. And that within itself is a shame. Hoops Junction, where hoops meets hoopla. Like, comment, subscribe.